You think you're a perfectionist. I'm calling you scared because what you call high standards. That's just fear wearing a really convincing disguise. Okay, so real talk. You've been lying to yourself, not intentionally, but still. You've convinced yourself that you're a perfectionist, that you just have really high standards, that you want things to be right before you do them, that you're waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect conditions. But that's not what's happening. What's actually happening is you're terrified, absolutely terrified. And somewhere along the line, probably way back, maybe childhood, maybe a bad experience. Who knows, you taught yourself something really dangerous. You taught your nervous system that if you don't get results, you don't matter. That your value is directly tied to your performance. That failure isn't just feedback, it's evidence that you're not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy. And once your nervous system learns that, once it codes failure as a threat to your entire existence, everything changes. You become hesitant. You second-guess everything. You avoid starting things because what if you can't finish them perfectly? You put things off not because you're lazy, but because your body is literally screaming danger every time you think about taking action. And you know what you do? You disguise it. You dress it up in this nice, socially acceptable package called perfectionism. You tell yourself and everyone else that you just want things to be right. That you have vision, standards. That you're not settling for mediocre. Which sounds good, right? Sounds noble, even. Except, and I need you to hear this, it's nonsense. Complete nonsense. It's the biggest crutch in your life right now. And it's keeping you stuck. Because here's what's really happening. Every time you avoid doing something because it might not be perfect, you're not protecting yourself. You're reinforcing the pattern. You're teaching your nervous system that its fear was valid, that the threat was real, that you really can't handle failure. And the more you do this, the more you avoid, the more you hesitate, the more you wait for perfect conditions that will never come, the stronger that pattern gets. Until eventually you're completely paralyzed. You can't start anything, can't finish anything, can't take any action without your entire system going into fight or flight. I lived this for years. I'd have ideas, good ideas, and I'd plan them out in my head, perfectly, every detail, every contingency. And then, I never do them. Because the second I tried to start, my brain would go, but what if it doesn't come out exactly like you pictured it? What if you mess it up? What if people see you fail? And I'd freeze, just completely freeze. And then I tell myself, I'm just a perfectionist. I'm just waiting until I can do it right, but that was a lie. I was scared. I was absolutely terrified of failing because I'd spent my whole life believing that failure meant I was worthless. So here's what you need to learn, and I'm not saying this is easy because it's not. You need to teach your nervous system that failure is safe, that it's not a threat, that it doesn't mean anything about your worth as a human being. You need to learn how to interpret your failures differently. Not as evidence that you're not good enough, but as data. Just data, information, feedback about what worked and what didn't. Because when you fail, and you will, everyone does, you're collecting data. That's it. That's all failure is. It's not a referendum on your character. It's not proof that you should give up. It's just information about what to adjust next time. And when you collect enough data, you build a skill. Skills lead to accurate execution. Accurate execution creates results. Results become evidence. Evidence builds self-trust. And self-trust? That's what actually creates confidence. Not perfectionism. Not avoiding failure. But trusting yourself to handle whatever happens. So the next time, and there will be a next time, probably today, the next time you feel yourself about to avoid something, about to put something off, about to tell yourself you need to wait until conditions are perfect, pause. Just pause. Take a breath. And separate yourself from that emotional state. Because what you're experiencing in that moment isn't reality. It's not truth. It's your nervous system running an old program. A program that says failure equals danger. That imperfection equals unworthiness. But you can override that. You can teach your system something new. You can show it through action, through experience, through repeated exposure that failure won't kill you. That imperfection is survivable. That you can start something messy and still be okay. And yeah, it feels scary at first. Because you've been operating the other way for so long. But every time you take action despite the fear, every time you do something imperfectly instead of not doing it at all, you're rewiring, you're retraining. You're teaching your body that it's safe to try. Look, perfectionism isn't serving you. It never was. It's just fear wearing a really convincing mask. And the longer you let it run your life, the smaller your life becomes. The fewer risks you take, the fewer things you try, the fewer experiences you have. And for what? To protect yourself from feeling bad? From looking foolish? From failing in front of people who probably aren't even paying that much attention? It's not worth it. It's really not. So start small if you need to. Do one thing imperfectly today. Post something that's not quite polished. Send an email that's not perfectly worded. Start a project before you have every detail figured out. And when that fear comes up, and it will come up, just notice it. Acknowledge it. Oh, there's that old pattern. There's my nervous system trying to protect me from a threat that doesn't exist. And then do it anyway. Not because you're brave. Not because you're confident. But because you're teaching yourself something new. You're showing your body that failure is just data. That imperfection is just part of the process. That your worth isn't tied to your results. And slowly, so slowly you almost won't notice, that fear will start to lose its grip. And you'll finally be able to move, to create, to try things without that crushing weight of needing everything to be perfect. That's not settling. That's not lowering your standards. That's freedom. Real freedom. The kind that lets you actually live instead of just planning to live someday when conditions are perfect. If you're ready to stop calling it perfectionism and start calling it what it is, fear, comment. Daytime, not danger. Follow for more on rewiring your nervous system, building real confidence, and finally taking action even when it's messy.